Lesson 11.1. Find measures of central tendency and dispersion. A measure of central tendency is a number used to represent the center or middle of a set of data values. There are three measures. The first one is the mean, or average, of n numbers is the sum of the numbers divided by n, or that formula. Notice the symbol for mean is this x with a bar over the top. The median is the middle number when the numbers are written in order. If you have an even number of numbers, the median is the mean of the two middle numbers. The mode is the number or numbers that occur most frequently. There may be only one mode. If all the numbers are there just once, there's no mode. Or if several numbers are there most often, you would have more than one mode. For example, the winning scores of 6 baseball games are 5, 7, 8, 5, 10, and 3. Find the mean, median, and mode. To find the mean, to find all of these, actually, you'd have to put the numbers in order first, smallest to largest. Then to find the mean, add them together and divide by the number of numbers. Since we have 6 numbers, I divided by 6. That gives us 6.33. The median is the average of the two middle numbers. That's because we have 6 numbers. So I add together the middle two numbers and divide by 2. So 5 plus 7 over 2 is 6. The mode is the number that occurs most frequently. Notice we have these two 5s occur twice. So the mode is 5. The measure of dispersion is a statistic that tells you how dispersed or spread out the data values are. There are two measures of dispersion we're studying. The first one is range, which is the difference between the greatest and least data values. So the range is the maximum minus the minimum. So let's find the range of the following data sets. Notice the largest number is 32, the smallest number is 14. So we will subtract those. 32 minus 14 is 18. The range is 18. Here's another data set. Find the range. Take your greatest number, subtract the smallest number. 23 minus 8 is 15. So the range of that set is 15. The other measure of dispersion is standard deviation, which describes the typical difference or deviation between a data's value and the mean. So really what we do is we subtract each data value from the mean. We make this positive by squaring it, and we take the average of that and then square root to undo the squaring. Find the standard deviation of the following data set. Okay, just 5 numbers, 4, 8, 12, 15, 3. We can put those in order, but we don't have to for standard deviation. We do need to know the mean. So I'm going to add them together and divide by the numbers of numbers, which is 5. So I'm adding them together and dividing by 5 because we have 5 numbers. So my mean is 8.4. Then I fill in the standard deviation formula. So it's the data value minus the mean. 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 Subtract and square each of those, add them up, divide by the number of numbers, and take a square root. You get 4.59. Now, as you can see, if we have a large data set, that could take a long time. So there's a shortcut on your calculator. If you have a TI calculator, a graphing calculator, you'd hit Stat, Edit, enter your data values into list 1. Clear your list first if you need to. Then you hit Stat, Calc, one variable stats. You'll probably have to hit enter a couple times and then go down until you see the sigma x, the standard deviation of x. If you have the TI-30XS multiview, it's very similar. You just need to hit Data, put your values in list 1, and then you hit Second Data to get to Stat and do one variable stats. And then find that same symbol, the sigma x. Outliers are a value that's much greater than or less than most of the values in a data set. And an outlier is a problem because it can skew the measures of the central tendency and dispersion. So let's say you're playing air hockey and you're in a tournament. Here are the winning scores of the first 5 games. Let's start by finding the mean, median mode, range, and standard deviation of the data set. If we want to do it by hand, find the mean, we'd add together the numbers and divide by 5 because there's 5 numbers. To find the median, we'd have to rearrange them into the proper order and find the middle number, which would be 15. The mode is the most common number, which is 15. The range would be the biggest minus the smallest, 17 minus 11 to get 6. And the standard deviation we'd have to calculate. We can just put it all in the calculator, go to Data, and in the TI-30XS multiview, you go to Data. If you have the graphing calculator, hit Stat and Edit. Put your numbers in list 1, and then you go to Stat on both calculators, and you want one variable stats, hit enter, and you'll see the x with the line over top, so that'll be mean. And if you scroll down, you'll see the median, MED. The mode, it does not tell you, but you can look at that list and see if 15 is most common. Range, it won't tell you, but you can look and see the biggest number, subtract the smallest number. And it'll tell you the standard deviation. Now, the next game is an outlier, 25. Well, notice 25 is much larger than any of these other numbers, so that makes it the outlier. So find the mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation of the numbers, including 25. So now we have a 25 here. So this time when we find the mean, we'll have to add them all together and divide by 6, because now we have 6 numbers. The median would be the one in the middle, so if I put the 11 at the end where it should be, you can see if the 15s are in the middle, so median's 15. The mode is also 15 because that's still most common. The range would now be 25 minus 11, or 14. And if you put it in your calculator, you'll get a new standard deviation. Notice some of these numbers are different. So which measure of central tendency does the outlier affect the most? Well, of the central tendency, that's the mean, median, or mode, since how the median mode didn't change, it appears to be the mean is the most affected by the outlier. And in general, the mode is the least affected by the outlier. So what effect did the outlier have on the range and standard deviation? Well, as you look and compare, they both changed significantly. So the outlier causes both the range and standard deviation to increase. On your homework, I would like you to do one standard deviation by hand, just one. The rest you can put into your calculator.